The film opens with a touching scene in a family that has just lost a family member. However, there's a married couple named Louisa and Okoa. They seem normal, but everyone else seems sad. This is because they'll soon receive a large inheritance. Louisa and Okoa have been married for a long time, but she's often annoyed because her husband only shows affection briefly. One day, they hold a birthday party at home, inviting many people, including a man named Sebastian. It turns out Sebastian has long had feelings for Louisa. However, because Okoa is wealthier, Sebastian fails to win Louisa. Despite this, they still communicate frequently and remain good friends. There's also a beautiful woman named Susan who likes to charm the uncles, clearly trying to get money from them. A few days later, Okoa returns home with a new maid named Juliana. At home, Louisa and Sebastian are teaching her how to use the computer. Juliana was actually a housekeeper at Okoa's office, but she was fired, and Okoa invited her home so she could work at his house. A few days later, Okoa received an order from his superior to go on a business trip abroad. Louisa was not allowed to accompany him because the matter was urgent. Sebastian took this opportunity to get closer to Louisa. A few moments later, a man named Basilio arrived. He was Louisa's cousin, a young man and a wealthy businessman. As children, they often met and played together, but they hadn't seen each other for several years. Basilio missed those times with Louisa and wanted to relive them. But instead of playing like children, they were making out. Elsewhere, Susan was with a wealthy man and making plans to get intimate. However, when the man got out of the car, he was immediately attacked by an unknown assailant. Susan knew it was her husband's doing and was upset because Susan often went out at night with other men. Louisa and Basilio grew closer and closer, even daring to be intimate at Louisa's house. But before they could finish, Juliana suddenly entered, causing panic. Even so, Louisa and Basilio became increasingly uncontrollable, flirting everywhere they met. They even did it in the cemetery, and were caught by the children there. Meanwhile, Juliana became suspicious and noticed something strange about Louisa and Basilio. To find out, Juliana secretly installed CCTV to monitor Louisa. Despite being caught frequently making out, Louisa and Basilio never learned their lesson, continuing to do it everywhere. Until one day, Juliana managed to obtain a recording of Louisa. She used it to ask Louisa for money. Unfortunately, Louisa didn't have much money, as the family savings account was only accessible to Okoa. Therefore, Juliana asked Louisa to do all the housework while she relaxed. Louisa was confused, especially since Okoa would be home soon. Finally, she asked Sebastian for help. When Okoa arrived home, he was surprised to find Juliana relaxing, watching television, while Louisa was busy tidying up. Louisa explained that she wanted to give Juliana a chance to rest. However, Louisa and Sebastian had already prepared a plan. That evening, Louisa took Okoa out to dinner, while Sebastian came to the house to pressure Juliana into handing over the recording. He threatened to report Juliana to the authorities for secretly recording his employer's activities. As Juliana tried to escape, Sebastian confronted Juliana. A scuffle ensued, resulting in Juliana's death on the spot. They then lied to Okoa that she had suffered a heart attack. A few weeks later, Okoa and Louisa attended a large party filled with invited guests, including Susan. Shortly afterward, the businessman who had been beaten by Susan's husband arrived seeking revenge. He brandished a gun and aimed it at Susan's husband. Sebastian tried to fight the man, but unfortunately, Okoa was hit instead. He was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately, he did not survive. Louisa wasn't sad at all. She was happy to receive the inheritance and live with Sebastian. Until the film finally ended.